Um,
An actor prepares.
I've got to center myself.
In our circles, in our circles.
Hi everybody, and welcome to Grumpy Old Men. It's a beautiful day here in PHANG, Thailand, and my name is Tim Newton, and that's all you really need to worry about.
Yes.
And so we'll see you next week.
Yeah, bye. Thanks for joining us.
Mr. Steve Ross has also decided to turn up today.
G'day. Yeah. Did the whole show.
That's your Jewish accent.
That's Brooklyn Jewish as opposed to Bronx Jewish.
What if I tried to do it in a Midwest accent and you tried to do it in an Australian accent? No.
Right. Crikey.
Oh,
what a mess.
Crikey, mate.
Yeah, that's as far as I get. That's
Sounds a bit like Meryl Streep.
Dingo ate my baby.
So, firstly, we do need to acknowledge where we are. We're at Aquella, which is the golf course.
Yep.
Which was opened in...
2018 grand opening, 2021, that recently. They had their grand opening during COVID.
Yeah.
Go figure.
And a lot of people come up from Phuket to play here, and it's like the little twinge of 5-star in an otherwise pretty laid back town.
Yeah, we're pretty rural, beach rural, as opposed to Isan rural. We are beach rural, but yeah, this place is very much an aberration. Nothing like it within miles.
The other thing we should also say is that Steve has got some of his books.
Oh, okay.
But they're not books, they're digital.
They're books that you can read on an e-reader. And one of them, three of them you can still find in paper. They were published originally on paper. But thank you for the plug. I appreciate that. Steve Ross.
I'm taking a commission, don't worry.
ROSSE on Amazon. And 5 books about Thailand there for your enjoyment. They're 5 books about Steve Ross, but they're set in Thailand. Yeah.
So there's a link in the description, as they say. Don't forget to like and subscribe. What else am I meant to say? That's about it.
Ring the notifications bell so you are alerted when a new Grumpy Old Men shows up.
So I do a serious news program during the week, and then the weekends I lower the tone, and we do this program. So this is the lowbrow part of TNT.
Yeah, no real news here, folks. Yeah, don't come here for news.
What I'd like to do is we can all dig back to our memories in the past. But the last couple of weeks that we've had a return of a program that's been going for 27 years, which is, it's sounded a bit like, I forget her name now. Who am I? What am I doing here? And that's South Park. And they have been lampooning politicians in the US. And the response from some of those politicians has not necessarily been very positive. They've gone, we don't like being lampooned like that. And firstly, I was thinking, is there still power in this sort of lampooning and comedy of, there are some countries where you can't do that, and you'd be dragged off to prison. But
or cancelled.
Or cancelled.
Yeah.
What's his name? Stephen...
Colbert.
But I think it is a rich history of comedy and lampooning over the years. And I was trying to think, at the moment it's South Park, although, as I said, they've been around for 27 years and they've never had higher ratings. And this, of course, is what happens. The more the people who are being lampooned go, the more people want to watch it. And that's what's happened with these first 2 episodes. You haven't seen either of them.
No, I don't have any kind of streaming service. I've seen the clips. You can't really avoid it. People have been clipping it. So I've seen little scenes here and there. I was a big South Park fan back, 20 years ago when they were still doing, "You killed Kenny, you bastards." I don't think Kenny's died for 10 or 15 years. But political satire, it's got a rich history. Aristophanes and Euripides and Eumenides back in the Greeks thousands of years ago. and it is sometimes suppressed and sometimes not. But I think people always want to laugh. And if you can, you write an op-ed saying, I don't like what the king is doing, or the king's, not got new clothes, and 10 people will read that all the way through. You put some jokes in there and you make it a cartoon, everybody's going to watch it. Everybody likes to laugh.
And there's going to be, when you're doing political lampooning, in a lot of democratic countries, you're going to have half the people watching who are going to be going, oh, I don't like that.
Yeah.
But I think it's a good thing that you should be able to lampoon and draw attention to...
poke fun at. Yeah.
And I'm not sure about the US. Did you used to have, in the late 60s and 70s, were there some programs where the politicians were lampooned?
Well, yeah, famously the Smothers Brothers were canceled because of things they said about Richard Nixon. And Stephen Colbert is not the first comedian to get canceled for speaking truth to power. That history is just as long as the history. Who was forced to drink hemlock by the king? Which Greek was that? At any rate, there's going to be pushback.
He's not around anymore.
That half of the audience who is offended by or angered by what you're saying, they're your biggest fans. They will come back and watch week after week after week because they get a rise out of it. We know that here. We have the same trolls come and troll us week after week after week after week. They're your most loyal fans. So you got to cultivate those relationships. Go back and poke them a little bit. If they go silent, go poke them a little bit. What happened to you, dude? Come on, comment.
We used to have, in Australia, we had the D generation. Some of them are still around doing political satire. And in the UK, there were those, I call them sort of rubbery figures. What were they called?
Oh, Spitting Image.
Spitting Image. Mm-hmm. And they drew a lot of attention and a lot of joy, too, for the people that used to watch them.
Sure. So, everyone likes to laugh. And if you can make a serious, even frightening subject funny, I think, what's his name? John Oliver. This week, his half hour is about Gaza. If you can make a joke about what's happening in Gaza, wow, and you'll get an audience. People love to laugh, and especially at things that scare them or depress them.
So I'm interested to know what you think about the latest lot of political satire that's floating around. Seems to me that there's plenty to satirize.
Yeah, and we have freedom here. We do brush up against local politics here from time to time. Talk about what's happening on the border or what's happening up in Bangkok. And we have a remarkable amount of freedom as foreigners here to talk about that stuff. I would stop short, certainly in this venue, of ever lampooning anybody in local authority. Even if I could think of a joke about what's happening in Bangkok right now, I probably wouldn't trot it out here because in this culture, they don't have the same history of laughing at power, of speaking truth out loud to power. That's foreign here. Even people who might agree with me, who might not like the current administration, would balk at making a joke of it, I think. Now, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think that tradition exists in this kingdom.
If you are wrong, maybe we could point that out next week.
Really? That
we
might
could make
be
a segment out of it.
A segment of it. Steve got it not correctly. Yeah, that drops right off the tongue, doesn't it? That's sonorous.
Yesterday, I asked my viewer to send in some ideas.
That guy.
Of it's a lady actually.
Oh, okay.
Of topics I could cover, because I just thought there's so much to talk about at the moment. I don't know what to talk about. So I got some very good suggestions. Some of them I thought were worthwhile hanging over to today.
All right.
So some of these will stir some thoughts. This is from Ryan Poe. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if that's a shortening of his name, but hello Ryan, and hello to the rest of the Poe family. Is there any form of racism / discrimination in Thailand? Especially Thais versus Thais. when I walk around Patong, that's in Phuket, by the way, most local Thais have dark complexion. Well, it is sunny, by the way, down here. But the moment I visit Bangkok Hospital, there's a Bangkok Hospital in Phuket, all the doctors and nurses have fairer complexion. Or when I go to the movie theatre, every single commercial for Thai products features actors who look more Chinese than Thai. There's a lot to say about this. It's similar to what you see on the Spanish language channels in the US. Most of the actors in the soap operas are white, or at least the leading roles, but that's not necessarily reflects how the average Latino looks like. Okay, gee, there is a lot to unpack there,
Yes,
Steve.
that's a big subject.
I suppose we could kick off by saying that racism is alive and well in Thailand.
Well, it is. It is, but this is not a question of racism. They're all one race. This is a question of classism.
Yes.
Classism. If you work indoors, you have paler skin than if you're a peasant working in a rice paddy. So traditionally in this country, you look at the murals on Wat Po, and all the gods and goddesses have very pale skin. If they're not green or blue, they have very pale skin. And yes, the actors are either Lukrung, they're either half European, or they have very pale skin. Go to 7-Eleven. The shelf that's got skin whitening products is bigger than the toothpaste shelf.
Exactly.
Yeah, so yeah, there is a hierarchy in skin tone. That's not race, because they're all one race. They're all Asian. But it is very much classism. And yes, the Chinese traditionally have been the business class in Bangkok. All the chefs in the Grand Palace have always
Same
been
in Singapore,
Chinese.
same in Malaysia.
Yes, the Chinese have a history, a rich history of maintaining their culture when they move. That's why there's a Chinatown in every major city on earth. And B, being very good at business and devoting themselves generation after generation to accumulating generational wealth. So they do end up in positions of power and authority.
And very generally, geographically in Thailand, if you start at the top, you're closer to China. If you go to the bottom, you're closer to Malaysia. And people in the south have more Malay in them, and they will be of a darker complexion. Note to Christy Nome. And if you go up north in Thailand, then they will be lighter and more Chinese. And I think they say that some 35% of Thais are of Thai Chinese descent. So they come from Chinese families, especially around Phuket and around here where
here, yes.
And in this town where it was all Chinese workers digging out the tin from the ground.
Biggest building downtown is the Taoist temple, and everybody has a Taoist shrine. As soon as you walk in their front door to confront evil, you will see the generations old Taoist shrines with old faded photographs, old effigies covered with incense dust. The Chinese don't assimilate. You know, my family, when we came to America, there was never any question of going back to Lithuania. We weren't welcome to go back to Lithuania. So we assimilated, my family assimilated completely. Nobody in my generation was taught Lithuanian or Polish.
Can you get a Lithuanian passport?
No.
Okay.
I wouldn't want to either. But the Chinese, when they go abroad and they establish a Chinatown somewhere, they still have a dream of returning to China at some point, at least for a visit. So the Chinese people we know here, educated in Taiwan, in a Chinese curriculum.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, and they still speak Chinese in the home, and they practice all the Chinese rites and rituals. So they maintain, they don't assimilate as thoroughly as perhaps I am used to in the United States. And yeah, they rise to positions of authority, and white skin is kind of revered. A lot of actors and actresses on TV who can't act, but they got very pale skin and pretty eyes, and so they get a role on TV.
And of course, we make a lot of money here in southern Thailand. People from European and American and Australian locations who come here to lie in the sun and get darker.
Yeah.
So you've got half the world who wants to be darker and the other half who wants to be lighter. Nobody's happy.
No, nobody's happy the way they are. Isn't that a glittering generality?
Yeah. So is it are the people who are of paler skin racist towards the ones with darker skin? You know, is it racism, or is it just the dark skin thing?
All I know,
You've got dark skin, so you work outside, so
Yes.
therefore you are lower class
and
than me.
I will say it again. And David, I'm not throwing mud at your wife, but agricultural laborers, I won't say rice farmers again, but agricultural laborers have always been the underclass in this part of the world. If you work outside planting or harvesting rice, you are not as important or as powerful or as wealthy or as educated as someone who works in an office, as someone who works at the rice mill where you sell your rice to a price that they set, not you. So being dark-skinned has always been an underclass here. And light-skinned, the teachers, the doctors, the airline pilots, everybody in a position of authority and wealth has traditionally been light-skinned.
I'll always go outside with my sunglasses on to protect my eyes.
Sure.
After spending all that money on the new lenses, and I'll put a hat on.
Mm-hmm.
But and I'll usually try and go in the morning or the afternoon to avoid the worst of the sun. But that's just a health thing, because my father died of complications from skin cancer, so I'm trying to avoid the same fate after spending the first 25 years of my life just
on the
out
deck,
on the deck of a boat, just in the sun all day. But
you're very pale.
Number one, wears a long sleeve shirt and got the hat, completely covers up to go outside.
Fleece hoodies.
Yes.
Yeah, they're bundled up like it's Canada in December. I don't know how I'm sweating right here in the air conditioning. I am sweating.
I can smell it.
Sure you can. So can the waitress. She gave me a look. But you know, these people here, the caddies are out here, they're raking the greens, and they are covered head to foot. These women are covered up head to foot.
If you see the Burmese workers working on gardens and sweeping the streets, they're wrapped up, and they've got like the scarf. Stop looking at the caddies. They've got the scarf wrapping. Look at me instead.
Sorry.
They've got the scarf wrapped around their face just so the eyes, and they've got the big hat. And they do try and keep out of the sun as much as they can.
Now, Bangkok Pat, since the question is about racism, and since we've kind of beaten the skin tone thing to death, Bangkok Pat and Carl on their One Bot Wisdom, they took as one of their subjects this week, is the dual pricing system racism? Because there is the Raka Farang, there is the Farang price for a variety of things.
I'll just go through and delete that particular subject. All right,
go
on.
Sorry.
Now go on.
Jump the gun. But, you know, what we've been talking about is not so much racism because they're all one race, but classism. But certainly charging someone who is a different race more money for the same product, by definition, I think is probably racism. So this tourist who asked this question...
But it's not so much, it's just if you've got a foreign passport that's not Thai, that's why you're being charged more.
Well, yeah. But do Thais ever show up at the national parks with a foreign passport and get charged more? I think it is aimed at people who are not Thai, right? Now, it's not just Farang. I think if an African person came to the national park, they would pay 400% more. You know, a Singaporean who is Asian would still be treated as a foreigner. But yeah, I think that probably, other than the skin tone thing, I think that probably would fit a textbook definition of racism better. I'm not personally bothered by it because I don't go anywhere. I don't do anything. I go in and out of our national park almost every day. I've never been asked for money. I don't even stop at the gate. I just ride my bicycle through. Because anybody who lives here, anybody who lives around a national park...
If you slowed down lower than like 80 kilometres an hour, they'd probably stop you though.
I doubt it, because I'm a local. I am seen as a local. I'm Lung Fai Chek. So...
I'll give it a go one day. I bet they'll stop me.
What was I going to say? Never mind. Next question. Yeah.
Old age.
Oh, any national park in Thailand, the locals are allowed to come and go freely because they're collecting bugs to eat or they're collecting mushrooms to eat. So here it's the same way. The fishermen go in and out of our park to fish every morning. They're not charged anything.
So this one's from James. Did we cover that? I think we covered that quite extensively. Did we answer the question?
Exhaustively. Yeah.
This is from James Tierney. He says, "Hi Tim," that's me. "Possibly a bit heavy, but how religious are the Thai people?" Again, wow. How long could we go?
Well, yeah.
No gripe as such, but just a thought, given religion seems to be important there. But it's maybe a taboo topic. Not at all, not for us anyway.
God, no.
Apart from that, a brief interlude about Jay Silverheels. Who's Jay Silverheels?
Jay Silverheels played Tonto on the old TV show The Lone Ranger. I don't know why, in what context he's bringing it up here, but that's the actor. Jay Silverheels was a Native American actor.
Well, you're coming to my next Trivial Pursuit team.
It's showbiz. I know.
No idea.
The only names I can remember now are actors' names. I forget the names of my best friends in conversation, but I can somehow remember who played Tonto in 1952 on American television.
Who sang for Deborah Carr in The King and I?
Marnie Nixon.
He's very good.
She also did, what else did she do?
Uh,
She did West Side Story. She sang for what's her name?
Natalie Wood.
Natalie Wood. And a third. She did a third big role. I can't remember what. Yeah.
My Fair Lady.
Marnie Nixon, My Fair Lady.
Yeah, Audrey Hepburn. She
did. Marnie Nixon put out her own album at one point, and it didn't take off.
Yes.
Beautiful voice, though.
And she was also a nun in The Sound of Music, playing.
Oh.
It was Marnie Nixon playing a nun.
Cool.
And
how do you solve a problem like Maria? Anyway, is religion important in Thailand?
It will be splendid,
Oh.
he says, regardless of topic. So we better be splendid. So in answer to your first question, are the Thai people religious? Yes.
Yeah.
But you could argue that Buddhism, which is the pervasive religion here, I think 95% of Thais are or describe themselves as Buddhist.
Right.
That Buddhism isn't a religion in the in the American sense of the word.
Right. Yeah.
There's no God. There's no sort of deity. But it all revolves around the teachings of a man called Buddha, who was born in
Nepal.
Very good.
Gautama Siddhartha
catch you today.
Gautama Siddhartha. Define religious. The Buddhism, at its core, is just the Four Noble Truths, which have nothing to do with heaven or hell or God or sin or anything like that. It's simply a description of how the universe works, which is remarkably similar to Albert Einstein's. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. But that now has been laid over with 2,500 years of superstition and tradition and monks selling lottery numbers and all kinds of rigmarole, which could be described as religious faith. There are also in Bangkok Hindu shrines, Brahmin shrines.
There's a lot of Hinduism in Thai Buddhism.
Oh, Thai culture, just generically in architecture and dress.
There are some temples on the Cambodian border.
Really?
Yes, which are Hindu temples.
I think those would be worth fighting over.
Yes.
Yeah. But at any rate, there is a lot. My ex-wife was the least spiritual person I've ever met. But she performed the rituals every day. She said Namo Tassa, and now I say Namo Tassa every day. I have no faith. I have no religious faith, but out of habit and because I think it is lucky, I begin every day lighting incense and chanting Namo Tassa to an effigy of the Buddha.
Somebody who isn't religious, you are very religious.
I'm superstitious. I'm not religious. I'm very superstitious. I have a lot of tics, a lot of lucky charms. I have a lot of things I do, because if I don't, something bad will happen. That's not religious faith, I don't think. But at any rate, the Thai people down here, the Muslims, you can hear the what is it? Not the mullah, the bilan calling the faithful to prayer just south of us 5 times every day. So there is a lot of ritual and rites. Oh, and like I said, virtually every home downtown here has a Taoist shrine right in front of the front door to confront evil coming in the house. And here's something I'd bring up, I've brought it up before. The architecture of the shop house, the shotgun house, where it's very dark and dim and deep and stretches back and back. And in the front, there'll be one room with the Taoist shrine, and grandma will have a coffee table or a card table where she's selling a hand of bananas or a couple durian or something. So business and religion right up front, right in your face, as soon as you come off the street. Everything else is hidden. Everything else is deeper and hidden.
And a lot of the prayers that they would be making would be about making money that day,
Yes.
becoming more wealthy.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
where a lot of their prayers go.
Yeah, a lot of good wishes. At a funeral, you burn money to send money with the deceased. And you can also burn little paper cars and clothes and servants and everything else. But typically it's money, paper money thrown in the flames. So yeah, wealth is seen as something that spiritualism can provide you with. It's a little slightly different than the Christian ethic. The argument the monks used to have, did Jesus own the clothes he wore? Or is poverty an absolute essential to Christian faith? Or did Jesus live off charity completely, or did he at least own his underwear? They don't have that argument here. The gods usually are very well dressed, and they're royal personages, and they have crowns and scepters and things. So wealth is important.
Yeah, so without a single deity, there is like a proliferation of a collection of
A pantheon
of different
Yes.
sort of gods that do different things, and you'd pray to a particular god for a particular result. But I mean, it's hard to say Buddhism is a religion, a way of life, perhaps. But I mean, a lot of
philosophy. At its core, it's a philosophy.
But
Nobody worships just the core.
But
Everybody does everything else on top of that.
unlike, for example, Christianity or Islam even, the Buddhism, they do live it like 24/7. Just about everything they do revolves around the Buddhist teachings. Every decision they make, every purchase they make, it will sort of be wound around their Buddhism. Whereas a lot of Christians might go to service on Sunday for an hour and call themselves a Christian
Right.
and not think about it for the rest of the week. So yeah, it is a different thing. But
Yeah, and that daily stuff, like before you open a business, before you get married, before you name a child, you consult a monk for a propitious day on which to do this, a lucky day on which to make this major decision or this major move.
Well,
That's nothing to do with Buddhism.
I found out I would have had a Airbnb competitor 2 months earlier, except the person who was a local Thai decided you'd have to get the monk to choose an auspicious date
Right.
to open the business.
Yes.
Bun, they opened about a month later because they actually opened on Christmas Day.
Right.
But coincidence. But because that was the date that the monk said
monk
that
said,
they had to
sure.
open.
Sure, my ex-wife, both of our children have Thai names. I don't remember either one, but those names were provided by monks. Everything. But again, that's nothing to do with the pure Buddhism, the Four Noble Truths of Buddhism. That's all 2,500 years of culture, 2,568 years of culture laid on top of the Dharma. And superstition, ritual, rites, habits, all of that. Where we draw the line between faith and habit, it's up to each of you.
But I think the one common strand with religion is there's a thing called cafeteria Buddhism, where they tend to be Buddhist when it suits them, and then not when it doesn't suit
sure.
them.
That can be said of all faiths.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
thou shalt not kill unless you're in a crusade.
Yeah.
Or you're in the army and the government says you have to kill somebody. Yeah, but otherwise, thou shalt not kill. Yeah.
This is a little bit deep, Steve, for for our show. Program.
Okay.
Fraser,
Podcast?
spelt with a PH, says, I'd like to hear what, in your opinion, will happen to Thailand / Southeast Asia in the next 10 to 15 years. Oh, this should only take a couple of seconds to answer. As far as what the future might look like with cultural changes, national stability, or even Thailand's place on the world stage. And any, not because that's not enough, and any insights you may have from your years of living there and through your work there. Could maybe riff off that, also riff away. I suppose the overarching part of any answer would say that we are entering the rise of Asia, the Asian century. We've seen the sort of demise in the last, the 20th century of the British Empire, and we're now sort of seeing the dying days of another empire.
The American Empire, you can say it.
I can't say
that.
that.
Yeah, it's failing. You know, the United States, the last 10 years or so have been pathetic.
So there's been 80 years of US leadership, and we're in a different phase of that now. I'm trying to be very diplomatic.
Beep.
Because, and there's people rushing to their keyboards as we speak. But yes, this is the rise of the Asian century, and that's partly to do with China. But I mean, if you look at Southeast Asia over the past 30 or 40 years, India, you've just seen this enormous rise of the middle class. And a lot of it is to do with the American-led globalization and sending manufacturing offshore. I mean, a lot of that has, and the intention was to drag the rest of the world up, kicking or screaming in many cases. But yeah, I think the future is generally good for Southeast Asia and Thailand. Thailand is forever experimenting with democracy and has its own way of doing things. And I'm not here to be critical about that. They're here to sort that out themselves. But I mean, Thailand works.
Works for me.
It's an organised chaos, but I can honestly say, despite a lot of people wanting to criticise it, I get up every day and I love living here, and I love some of the confusion and the chaos that happens, but things do work here.
Yeah.
Over to you, Steve.
Yeah, I don't. This is more a question for you because I don't read the news. I don't follow the news. I ain't going to be here to see it, whatever the future holds. I am focused on this place, Thai Mueang. I want to learn every single family that owns every single shop house in our downtown. We have 4 blocks of Main Street, and I walk that street in the evenings and look at these homes, and some of these homes you can tell 4 generations have grown up and lived in this home. I want to be invited inside. I want to see their furniture. I want to see what's behind that Taoist shrine.
So you're going to become a thief?
No, I want to be somebody who lives on Turtle Beach and is considered part of this community. I want to learn this community. Anything happening beyond that, it's nothing to do with me. I won't live to see the outcome of anything that's in the news today. So I don't really, I'm
You're
not
such a globalist.
No, I'm very much an individualist and a narcissist. I only care about what's affecting Steve Ross right now. When I was younger, I was involved politically, and I worked for the party, and year after year after year, election after election after election, I wrote letters to the editor. I got in arguments with people about politics. I don't do any of that anymore. I don't care about that anymore. So I really can't. What's the future going to hold for Thailand? It's hopefully for 10 or 15 years there'll be these turtles made out of cigarette lighters on Turtle Beach. That's all I know about or care about. Sorry, dude.
So you can vent all your hate and frustration towards me on that one.
Yeah.
So we're now going to move into the next segment. I'm saving the best to last.
Oh, okay.
But for now, we're going to look at your book of the week.
No, I didn't bring one.
Oh,
You
that's
told
right.
me. Yeah, what do you?
That's right. Well, it was so exciting. We're holding it over till next week.
Yes, that's a great book. It's a great book.
We will get on to...
let me just thank somebody. The reason you thought I brought a book. Robert DeRosa from the United States sent me a copy of Leaving Thailand. I'm currently reading my books on YouTube, and I don't own any copies of my books. So various listeners and viewers have been sending me books. and I have 2 of my 5 books now on paper, and and then somebody sent me all the PDFs, so I do have readable copies of these books. But thank you, Robert or Robbie, for sending me that book. I very much appreciate it.
And we should, we'll thank formally Matty next week.
Yes.
But Matty, who you've been reading reading your books for, he's been very, 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 very generous. So we'll give you a formal thank you next week.
Yeah.
It'll be some sort of ceremony that we will conduct.
Yes.
And it'll involve throwing petals, rose petals. Okay, let's get out Narelle's notebook.
Matty, I'll tell you what, Matty has got his life engineered. Matty lives in Pattaya, and he lives in Pattaya because the life he wants to experience in Thailand is concentrated in places like Pattaya. And Matty is one of the happiest people I've ever met in my life. And good on him. He and I have very dissimilar lives, but he enjoys his life at least as much as I enjoy mine, and maybe perhaps a tiny bit more than I enjoy mine.
How old is Matty?
Not as old as me. I've only met him in the flesh once. We've been correspondents for years online.
Well, nice to know that you met Matty in the flesh.
Yes, 50s, mid-50s, I would guess. I hope that's not insulting, Matty. If you're in your 40s, I'm sorry. I would guess mid-50s. He's mature, but he's retired. He has stopped working and sold his condo in Atlanta and moved to Pattaya, and just does that Pattaya thing, baby, and does it real well and has a good time.
Just remember, she doesn't actually love you.
Oh, yeah. I think
that.
Matty has got his feet firmly on the ground. He's not likely to fall in love with someone and let her drag him home to Pizza on a Log and buy the land for her family, buy the pickup truck for her family, build a house for her family, and end up penniless and an unwelcome guest on her family's land. I don't think that's not Matty's future. All right. Narelle's notebook.
Thank you, Narelle.
And White Labs.
Think about you every week.
White
because
Labs.
Of this book.
White Labs.
Good investment.
Yeah. All right. I had asked last week, are there many statues of PHANG in Thailand? Because there is the one guy whose name I had to look up, Corrado Ferrucci, who built all of the big monuments in Bangkok, the Victory Monument and this monument, that monument, this monument. Rama V brought 3 Italian architects and artists to Bangkok to build a modern Bangkok. And there is a statue of this Italian guy. He founded Silpakorn University, the leading arts university in Thailand, and there's a statue of him there. And I said, are there other statues? And someone said, there's about 20 statues of him at Silpakorn, because all the sculpture students would do a bust of the professor to curry favor, and then of course you can't take that bust away or throw it away. It's got to stay at the university. So all over Silpakorn University there's busts of this Italian guy and one full figure. Other people pointed out there's Assumption University. There it just went.
Making an assumption.
Well, most of the ruling elite, these Chinese Thais we've been talking about, for generations were educated at Assumption University, a Catholic university.
A Catholic university?
Yes, a very Catholic university.
Right.
They were devout Buddhists and Taoists, and for the period of time they were at university, they went to Mass and they learned catechism for generation after generation, because Buddhism allows this, of course, as does Taoism. What Jesus might think of you as being a Buddhist Catholic, I don't know. But they pointed out there are a few statues of French missionaries on the campus of Assumption University.
They had a missionary position.
They still do, because they're in bronze. And the last one, Queen Victoria at the Phalang Cemetery in Chiang Mai. There's a statue of Queen Victoria up there. But, and this just slayed me, I never expected this. It's a beautiful point. More than one of our viewers made it. There's about 1,000 statues of Ronald McDonald all over Thailand. Outside every McDonald's is Ronald whying the customers as they come in. That is certainly a pharang, and it's certainly a statue, and there's 1,000 of them, and kudos to you guys who pointed that out. Never occurred to me. Thank you for that.
All right, let's move on to the next one in Steve Got It Wrong.
I graduated class of 1975 from high school. My high school graduating class just had our 50th reunion.
Oh.
I did not go.
No.
Would you go to a school reunion?
Well, I ran into an old schoolmate a couple of weeks ago that we hadn't met ever since I finished school, which was in '76, because I'm much younger than you.
Yes, he was held back 15 years.
And to David Clark. But if I got an invitation to me saying, we would love you to come, I would probably go. If there was an event for people of my class, I probably wouldn't. But if an invitation was sent to me,
Guest speaker.
We understand how important you are now, how successful you've been, and you know Steve Ross.
Sure.
So we would be honoured to have you. Then I'd probably go.
Okay.
The ego would work, but
all right. Well, it is, that thought has always been alien to me. I hated high school. I had a terrible time in high school. I cannot imagine going back, wanting to go back and see those people again. Some of them are perfectly fine people, but no, I don't want to relive that.
But the reason I'd go is just to see how well I'd aged compared to
them.
That's the only reason I'd be going.
And I know I will not have. I know every other guy in my, the people who show up at these, I think we had about 100 people in my graduating class. Probably at least 20 are dead now, but only about 20 showed up to the reunion. I think that the 20 who are successful, who are happily married, whose children have grown up well adjusted, and who still live relatively close to Iowa City, that's who comes to the reunion. The rest of us who hated the high school experience, or who are dead, or who are not successful, or whatever. What are we gonna? We're gonna go because everybody's gonna. Oh, what are you doing these days? Well, I'm in debtor's prison. They let me out. I got an ankle monitor on. The sheriff is waiting outside. I got a curfew. Yeah, I think those people are not gonna go.
I mean, I haven't done well in the sort of the traditional Peninsula School academic sort of portfolio, but I'm sort of living very happily in a beach town in Thailand. So I think I'm doing well.
Yes.
Because I'm sort of happy and content. But I think there is a lot of how much Bitcoin have you got going on at those sort of reunions. I don't really care for that. But I'm not sure. I haven't been invited, nor have I seen any particular function coming up on my Facebook. And I've got my school as a Facebook friend or whatever it is. So
following.
So I haven't actually had to sit down and go, maybe that'd be fun. But I don't know.
I had the excuse because
I'm living in Thailand. Sorry, I can't.
I'm not going to come home.
You come over here.
But I don't know. I think different people have different. My high school experience was more like Buffy the Vampire Slayers. High school was a place full of monsters where you're constantly under threat. You're constantly looking over your shoulder. You're constantly shaking the table. Sorry. Anyway, someone said last week.
Okay, before you go on, you're heading back to the US for a break?
I have been thinking of doing that. I have to look at my finances, but it looks like, yes, I would like to go back this fall. Fall is the only decent time to be in Iowa City. But last year my mother came out here to visit me, and it was very hard for her. She's 92. So I would like to see her again, and some friends in Iowa City, and family in Iowa City. So probably I'm thinking I was planning to go home after this and look online, because I'm terrible at buying anything, but airplane tickets, go look and see what I can find to go home. In the last week of October, first week of November. My birthday is November 6th, so be with my mom on my birthday, my 69th birthday. So I'm thinking about it.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe you can help me find a decent ticket, because I suck at buying anything. I'm going to give up my motorcycle, by the way.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Making notes. Go on.
So I've been renting a motorcycle for the 3 years I've been here. 100 baht a day for 3 years. It's about 100,000 baht. I could have bought 2 brand new motorcycles by now instead of driving a used motorcycle for 3 years. But I didn't think I was going to last 3 years when I got here.
Exactly.
And I'm at a place in my life where I don't want to accumulate stuff. I don't want to own something that I got to get registered and I got to buy it on time and make a payment every. I didn't want to touch it, but it is becoming more and more obvious that I'm kind of throwing money away. So I thought, you know what, rather than give it back to the guy I'm renting it from, who's a very good friend of mine, give it back to him, and then buy a secondhand motorcycle, I've got this little electric 3-wheeler.
Yeah.
If I need to go to Koh Kloi for something, I'll have Chamnan drive me in the Samloa, or I will rent a motorcycle or ask you for a ride. Rent a motorcycle for a day. There's plenty of places in Thai Mueang I can rent for a day and go there. So,
but you know, from time to time we sort of see these old people getting around in the 3-wheeler electric scooters, and we go, "Oh God, they're so annoying." That's you.
Why is that annoying? What do you care how I get around?
Well,
Because I block traffic? Is that what you're saying? I'm slow on the road, and I'm blocking traffic. Is that it? Geez, you know, of all the things people are doing on these roads, me going down the road,
15 kilometers an hour.
No, 18.
18.
Well, to
Breakout.
conserve electricity, it'll go 33. Top speed 33 kilometers, but you chew up the battery. You use up a lot of electricity doing that. So keep it in first gear and go 18 kilometers an hour, and the battery will last a week. You can go to the store every day. The battery will last a week. You won't have to charge it. But
So you love your 3-wheeler that
I do,
much?
but it's rusting away. It's falling apart. I've had it.
You
little
need
over
a
a year.
can of WD-40
I've got a Canada.
and give it a wash every
Yes,
week.
yes, I should be doing all of that. Yes, I
Right.
certainly should be doing
So
all of
you
that.
are relinquishing your 2 wheels for 3 wheels.
For 3 wheels.
You've
And for the
given up.
bicycle, I'm going to ride the bicycle and just walk around. I don't go anywhere. You know, I take that motorcycle, I keep it inside, the rented motorcycle, and every day I wheel it out to the front porch so I can use my studio space, and every evening I wheel it back in and park it in my living room.
That's
in the morning,
worth
I
it
take
just
out
for the
and move
exercise.
it back in. 100,000 baht I've paid, and at the end of this month I'm going to give it back to Hans,
Okay.
and I'll have nothing to show for that 100,000 baht, because that's why I need help buying an airplane ticket, because I've never bought a vehicle that wasn't a lemon in my life. I've had an unbroken string of crap cars since I was 16 years old. I'm terrible at buying stuff. Anything capitalist. I'm just buying or spending or earning.
We'll give you some help.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Steve's really angry this week. That was a comment we got last week.
From last week?
Yeah, Steve's really angry this week. When
You
am
were
I
very
not?
loquacious. I'm not sure
Yeah,
whether you were angry.
I don't. All of these we've done
By the way, the program is called Grumpy Old Men.
Yeah.
I mean, if he's a little bit angry,
in
that's
character. But, you know, we've done, how many of these have we done?
81.
81.
I checked the other day.
81 hours of content. I am represented in more than 200 hours of content on YouTube right now. I'm angry in every minute of it. You don't need to comment. I'm just always, I'm like Dr. Bruce Banner. That's my secret. I'm always angry. You know the reference? Anyway.
Bruce Banner was the Hulk.
Right. And so there's a moment.
Played by the Australian recently, Eric Banner.
Eric Banner?
That's his name.
Mark Banner? Anyway.
thinking
Yeah,
of Mark
I'm
Ruffalo.
angry. Yeah, Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah.
Mark Ruffalo has that line because they got tired of like going through the whole drama of making him turn into Hulk, turn into Hulk, turn back. So they just finally said, no, screw it. He's just going to be able to turn whenever he wants, and boom, fight the aliens. We had asked
Eric Banner
that one I haven't seen.
playing the Hulk.
That one I haven't seen. All right,
Australian actor.
moving on.
Australian.
We had asked, who's our typical audience? Somebody wrote in and said, well, if you keep
What?
espousing these liberal woke views, you're particularly about gun control. I said something about gun control in the U.S. And he said, well, you're alienating a significant portion of your core audience.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
I thought, what?
Why, if we express an opinion, is that alienating anybody? We're happy to hear your opinion too. It's just that you're
I'm
not
not.
sitting here.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm happy to hear
I'm
your
not.
opinion.
I don't care about your opinion.
Just, I don't care much for your insults. That doesn't really.
Yeah, the insults you
That
can-
doesn't sort
yeah.
of help the conversation.
Apparently,
That doesn't affect me.
this gentleman thought that I had alienated him and a significant portion of your core audience. So I said, "What is our core audience?"
Yeah. Oh, we did get a lot of responses.
We did, and it boiled down to, because I paid attention to these responses.
You've done a graph and a ChatGPT's
kind
worked it
of
all out for
slightly
you.
male. We skew heavily male.
But we love the girls.
We do. Athena Sword sent us a beautiful long letter, which somebody forgot to bring with him. But Athena Sword, thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
We do have a handful of loyal female viewers, which we're very grateful for.
They're attracted to our beauty and our handsome faces.
Yeah, our handsome faces. But 95%, I think, of the respondents who told us their demographics, male, middle-aged or above.
Well, there are some young gentlemen who are viewers as well.
There are some
They
reasons.
might be attracted to our handsomeness as well.
They might be, or they might be
Not
looking.
our money. It's
A couple guys who have succeeded in living the expat life in Thailand, who are not bitter, angry old guys.
all grumpy.
Well, we can be grumpy, but we're not sitting in the one air-conditioned room in our home in Pizza Nuluk watching motorsports on YouTube while our wife's family hates us out in the rest of the province. We enjoy ourselves very much, I think. I mean, we enjoy ourselves. And maybe
Yes.
younger expats look to that as an example. How can I enjoy myself as much
And
as
there's
Tim
a lot of people
Steve?
who watch us from overseas, not here in Thailand.
Yes, people planning a move, or a frequent tourists, or first-time tourists, or whatever. Maybe they just stumbled on us.
Yeah, I mean, this is Thailand. This all Thailand looks exactly like this. This
Yeah.
is Thailand.
Yeah,
This is Thai as it gets.
400 baht a plate. Yeah, that's it.
Yes.
Thailand. But anyway, and finally, from what I could tell from the responses we got last week, a show called Grumpy Old Men, we're going to attract a certain number of grumpy old men, typically, but I think our core audience skews, if anything, skews liberal. I don't think our core audience would be offended by wokeism or thoughts for more strict gun control. I think this correspondent has misidentified who is our core audience.
Yeah, well, we probably have pissed off a few people who are centre right or even further right, and they've gone elsewhere, and that's okay. So
Yeah.
maybe we do have a slightly more liberal audience than. But it's not as if we've tried to manicure that. It's it's just the way the cards are fallen.
And I had not, I'm glad that this correspondent brought it up, because I had not thought to do a survey and see who any other legacy TV show on any legacy network would do market research, focus groups, and everything else to find an audience, because art tailors itself to match the audience's expectations. Art does never lead an audience anywhere. Art is led by the audience. Any kind of media will seek an audience and will provide whatever can give them the biggest audience. And we never had done that. We had just never asked who's watching this show. So I'm glad for the opportunity to do that. Thank you, unnamed correspondent.
We love you all.
We love you all. Steve got it wrong. Ecuador is not in Central America. Steve got it wrong. Yes. I've never been to Latin America.
It's in the sort of the Central American area.
No, it's South American. It's down by Peru, turns out. I am told. I haven't looked at a map. But I am told Steve got it wrong. And Ecuador is in South America. I've never been further south than Mexico City. I spent a summer of my life in Guadalajara, visited Mexico City and a few of the ruins, walked up a few of those god-awful pyramids.
God, how do you spell Ecuador?
E-C-U-A-D-O-R.
E-C-U.
Equa.
Well, there it is.
Oh, this is a good one.
I just want to see what.
Well, yeah, I know.
Okay, so it's at the top of Peru, and okay, so north of Ecuador is Colombia, and then you get to Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua. Okay, all right. So it's it's in South America. Yeah. Okay, I agree now.
I had mentioned last week that every bar girl, and perhaps every Thai person, I don't know, carries a library of death, doom, and disease on their phone. Photographs of mangled motorcycles, of people, Thai people in hospitals. And when they miss an appointment, they will show you the phone and say, look, my friend had a motorcycle accident. I have to spend the night with him in the hospital. Or my brother died. I need 2,000 baht for the funeral, or whatever. They've got this, they've all got this permanent library of death, doom, and disease in their phones. And someone pointed out, no, now they make them to order with AI. They tell you, look, I went to the funeral yesterday. I'm wearing the same dress I'm wearing now. You see, this is a current photo because I'm wearing these same clothes. So they're using AI to
unintended consequences.
Yeah, isn't that's the salient point? I think is never trust anything a Thai person.
Sam Altman wasn't thinking about Thai bar girls when he was putting together ChatGPT. I try to be up with the cool kids with all this AI stuff, and I was watching a documentary last night on YouTube about the latest GPT-5 and how it was going to change everything. And I got about 5 minutes in and I'm drooling, leaning back over the pillow. Oh my God, it's so complicated. But I had a bit of a play and it does some astonishing things. What was that, the last one?
The bar girls using, or any Thai.
There seems to be a thing about Thai people and Burmese people too, that they don't get as offended as we do when we look at blood and gore. They sort of say, oh, look at this picture of a car crash. I go, oh my God, I don't want to look at that. Yeah. Or I look at this, my grandma died. Here's a picture of her dead in the hospital bed. I go, I don't really want to look at that. But it doesn't, it doesn't offend them. It doesn't, the sensibility is quite different.
Yes, it's actually attractive. And I don't know if it goes back to this, monks have always meditated over photographs of car crash victims and executed criminals and things like that because they're meditating on the ephemeral nature of life. They're reminding themselves that there is nothing permanent and that eventually we all cease to exist. Monks have always meditated over these photos, but there have always also been newspapers that are nothing but grisly photos of murder victims and car crash victims and drowning victims and everything else. And every crime scene used to have photographers from the newspapers. The cops would bring in the photographers and allow them to take a picture of the dead body before the paramedics came and took the dead body away. And these were published on the front page of newspapers that were sold in the newsstands right next to Thailand and Siang Thai and all the other regular newspapers.
It's only in recent years that there has been a bit of modification of this. They're now starting to blur out the photos and there has been a bit of a calming down of
perhaps
the brutal photos that they have on the front of their newspapers. But it has improved a little bit.
There was a guy, I worked for 9 years at Fort Bliss in El Paso, Texas. And, it's a very Mexican part of the United States. You're 4 miles from the border at Fort Bliss. Actually, Fort Bliss is on the border.
Is there a wall there?
No.
No.
Well, there's a chain link fence and a highway, an interstate. You have to run across 8 lanes of freeway to get to, but that's it.
That's more dangerous than the wall.
And a dry riverbed, the Rio Grande, which used to have water in it, but now all the water's sucked out to grow almonds in New Mexico. So it's a dry riverbed now. So no, there's really nothing there. But when politicians say, we're going to send troops to the border, been 30,000 troops at Fort Bliss since 1815, I think, 1835. And they've been there. They're
That's
there.
The town's economy.
They've been there. Oh, God, yes. Oh, my God. The number of barbecue places and motorcycle dealerships and muscle car dealerships in El Paso is ridiculous.
And bars. There'd be lots of bars.
Yes, bars, strip clubs, titty bars. But a lot of that, the soldiers go over to Juarez because things are a lot more loose over at Juarez. So drug taking, drinking, whoring around, you just drive across the bridge. Again, it's 4 miles. You just go over to Juarez and do all that stuff. But the reason I brought it up, there was a guy in the lab who used to sit all day at his workstation looking at his phone. And what he was looking at consistently, as long as I knew the guy, 9 years I worked with this guy. Well, the 6 years I worked with this guy. He was looking at execution videos that the drug cartels in Mexico will post. Before they kill a rival gang member, they will strap him to a post and then they'll make him read a written statement where he says he's sorry he worked for the wrong gang, and he says goodbye to his wife and his mother. And when he's done reading his statement, somebody takes a chainsaw and decapitates the guy live on video. And these videos are shared around among people who like to watch that stuff. And this guy's sitting in the lab in a lab coat and a mask, right? Because we all wore masks. And he's watching these videos. So I don't think that kind of morbid curiosity is specific to Thai people.
No.
But it's not something
I'm sorry, I just don't, if you're watching that stuff, you're not normal. I'm sorry.
Yeah, even in a movie,
that's whack.
It has to be, if you're gonna blow apart, aliens or mutants or zombies, I can watch that. But as soon as it's a human victim, I have to
or an animal
look away, or an animal. Yeah, I have to look away. I don't like that.
All right, one more. We've got to go.
One more.
Choose wisely.
All right, I want to give a bit of advice to fellow YouTubers. There is a genre.
Oh, here we go.
There is a genre of YouTube in Thailand where a white guy, a PHANG, will, and in one case, a white woman, will allow themselves to be led by the nose up into the boonies somewhere.
Are you aiming this at one particular
No.
YouTuber?
Like I'm saying, it's a genre.
Right.
The guy, he goes up country to some bumfuck little village somewhere, and he buys his partner's Udon whoop whoop. He buys his partner's family a big piece of land. He buys them pickup trucks, motorcycles, builds a house out of brick and tin on that land for them, buys the rambutan for them. He sinks his whole load into this family of people he's never met before, and then he's there, right? And he gets bored. So he starts aquaculture, or he starts permaculture, he starts growing earthworms, he starts whatever he's doing. He becomes the country squire, and he devotes himself into composting. And he'll do videos about, this is how I compost. And it's really important to urinate in the compost, that nitrogen, Dude, that's not what we want to hear. That's not going to draw a crowd. How many of us are interested in farming tilapia in the backyard? What's interesting is...
Well, it beats 10 best pad Thai or something.
No. What's interesting is the human interest. Why did you follow this woman? Why did you? What about her? Let her drag you by the nose into this place where you have no... where you're obviously a fish way out of water, where you're so bored you're getting into growing fish, and that's what we want to know. And how is that relationship now, 3, 4, 5 years down the line? Now that you're there and you're stuck there, there's no going back, because they own all that.
How much of you do you want to let go in the pursuit of some
make
ideal?
It personal. I will watch that all day long. It's called human interest, because we're interested in other human beings. I mean, I suppose there's probably 10 people out there interested in rambutan farming, or earthworm farming, or lemons, whatever it is you're doing.
I'll watch that.
Yeah, okay. I want to know what's going on in your head and your heart, dude. Where are you at right now in this relationship? Because you would not have let a woman back in Leeds or Manchester or Iowa City drag you out into the farmlands to grow barley or whatever. What is it about this relationship, and is that still in that relationship? Are you still as happy as you were when you allowed this woman or this man or this katoi to drag you back home to the farm? That's the interesting part to me. So I give us some of that. Show us a little bit of yourself. Don't hide yourself behind the tractor and the chain link fence and everything else. All right, that's it. I'm done. I'm through. Thank you for listening.
Do you feel better now?
I do. I always feel better. Dude, this is a tonic. Doing this every week, I feel terrific.
Well, I only do it because you pay me to do it. So.
Watching it, like I could pay anybody to do anything. Watching it is always a very different experience.
I don't think I've ever watched an episode back. Not once.
Really?
Never watched an episode.
Well, you're great in them.
Thank you.
I'll
Thank
clue
you.
you in.
I never seem to. I don't have an interest in watching myself on TV, despite what you might think. So
the differences that make us a team. Yeah, I love to watch it. I'll watch it once. I'm very, very critical of myself.
So were any of them any good?
Yeah, we've had our moments in 81 hours of content. We've had our moments. I think I fare better here than I do. I've been interviewed by 5 other YouTubers and to varying degrees of success. And I think I present myself much better here. I'm more comfortable with you, and I'm at home, and it's not Zoom. We're not doing it Zoom.
Oh yeah.
So
Zoom doesn't work.
I am pleased with this. I'm very happy to come
I
back
think the
every week.
electrodes connected to your testicles and the app, I think they work together very well.
Well, I don't take them off when the show's over, so they must be doing something. I keep them on all day.
And with that, we thank you very much for tuning in today, and to
Are you happy
all
you
those
did? Are you
liberal
happy?
woke people from Canada, and the 5 ladies. We love to have you with us as well. We will bring those letters. And have you been eating any more cherry ripes?
What? You gave me one bag that lasted 10 minutes.
Yes, they
They're
are.
only this big.
They're very Moorish.
There's like 10 of them. They're this big. There's 10 in a bag this big.
They're a little bit larger than that.
Downsizing.
But,
What's that called? Inflation?
thank you, Patrick.
Yeah, anyway. They're real yummy. I enjoyed them.
Oh, when they charge the same amount, but the product gets smaller.
The product gets smaller. That's
Yes.
called productflation. There's a word for that. What is that?
Commerce,
Yeah,
capitalism.
Yeah. Profit taking.
So we look forward to your comments, and you can hate what we say or like what we say and comment, but have a go at what we actually say rather than having a go at us, because you're wasting your space by doing that. I'm just trying to save you time.
The ad hominem attack is the hallmark of the bankrupt intellect. So don't ad hominem attack. Don't
we'll leave you with that.
No name calling.
There's links in the description for Buy Me a Coffee, for Steve's books, for, I don't know, that's about it.
Yeah.
Have a good week.
Thank you. You too. Thank you very much.
And where did this shirt come from?
Oh, this is one Gordon's.
This is one of Gordon's.
Gordon's shirts.
That's nice.
Yeah.
It's silk.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Very
yeah.
nice.
Gordon's shirts. Yeah.
In fact, they should see, just stand up. Just show them what you're wearing. You should have been doing the show upside down. Look at the pants.
It's a golf course. I wore check pants, plaid pants. Oh, now the pillows are beneath me.
All right, time to say goodbye. Thank you for coming.
See ya.
Wobble the table. There we go. Oh, it's an earthquake.
Props.